To hear everybody cheering in the stands. Thank you for being here. We'd like to thank the athletic department of the Edmond School District. At fullback, number 54, Gavin Kincaid. And in the slot, number 10, Michael Hurtado. Quarterback for the Royals, Julius Hudorf. Head coach for Linwood football, Keontae Bankhead. Captains are now meeting at the center of the field for tonight's coin toss. Here's the offensive starters tonight for the Meadowdale Mavericks.
This program is
at tackle, number 70, Carlos Mejia. Playing guard, number 71, Joseph Iglesias. Playing center,
we are
22, Chauncey Gant.
From Edmond Stadium for the varsity football game, Linwood Royals versus Meadowdale Mavericks. Calling this game is the voice of Terra Sports, Steve Willix. Take it away, Steve.
That announcer, I think, overrode too, but okay. That was too loud.
And welcome to Edmond Stadium, a rainy night here at the stadium. It is time for a little Wesco football, a rivalry game. Two teams from the Edmond School District, two teams coming in with equal records, one win and one loss. Each one trying to get win number 2 tonight. Should be a good one. They match up well on paper. This could be fun. It is Meadowdale and it is Linwood. Coming up next on Hawk TV HBN.
Back judge is Wes Taylor. The line judge is Tyler Wiedenkamper. The linesman is Corky Truen. The umpire is Ted Jones, and wearing the white cap, our referee, Tim Stern. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, will you please stand? Remove your hats and face our colors in the north end zone for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm your announcer, Tom Davis. Let's get ready for football. That goes in the book. Yeah.
We've pledged allegiance.
Noel Gugui, number.
There we go. Now we're working. We've pledged allegiance to the flag. We've mentioned the players by name out there through the public address system. They're lined up. They're ready to go. A rainy night of football. It's just like it's fall, folks. It's just like Friday Night Lights in an October situation, correct? only it's March. Here we go, third game of the season. Cole Sargent on to kickoff. And we are underway. Ball fielded at the 4-yard line. Make it the 2-yard line. Brought up to the middle. Still on his feet. Continuing to run. That's Monin. Monin past midfield and finally got down around the 47-yard line. Penalty marker down back at the 14-yard line. Very good chance this one coming back. But Sean Monin had a big week last week. 2 touchdowns. Thought about trying to get that one to the house. And Linwood, depending on where this stands after the penalty, might have outstanding field position. Again, they might be coming way back. Regardless, Linwood bringing their offense out onto the field, an offense that put together 27 points in the second half against Shorewood last week. Not to mention, they threw a touchdown pass on the final play of the second quarter. It's 34 points, 5 touchdowns over the course of less than 25 minutes. We still await the penalty here. Our officials tonight, that is Tim Stern. He's your head official. Ted Jones is your umpire. Corky Traywin is your linesman. Got Tyler Weedcamp. He is the line judge. And Wes Taylor, he is your back judge. This one's taking a moment, apparently. Players do not appear to be heading back towards the goal line here, so this one might get waved off.
During the return, personal foul, blindside, box, kicking team. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the return. First down, Linwood.
And there's something you don't see very often, a blindside block from the kicking team, not the return team. It's usually the other way around. So Monin's return, which ended up being about a 50-yard return. He fielded it up to 2, ran it to the Meadowdale 48-yard line. We're going to get, for some reason, they're giving him 10 yards on that. Okay, they're going to spot it at the 38. I'm going to say he was down, I guess, before the 50. But regardless, Linwood ball. Julius Hudorf, the quarterback, number 2, hands off. That's Anthony Hooker. You're going to hear his name a lot tonight, number 35, and he's stacked up quickly. Linwood wearing those dark gray uniforms. Jake Wiesenberg getting the tackle, number 25, the linebacker. Let's give you the defense right now. Your front 4 for the Meadowdale Mavericks. The defensive ends are number 54, Luis Marinez Ibarra. You've also got number 34, Colton Leith. We'll get to the rest of the team here in just a moment. Hudorf. Hands off one more time. Hooker trying it again right up the middle, picking up a couple of yards, but not finding much room. A few different Mavs in on the tackle. Let's go ahead and give you the rest of that lineup here. Your 2 guys in the front, in the middle there. Justice Williams is your nose guard. He's wearing number 42. Chauncey Gant, who we just heard make the tackle there, he's number 72. He's your tackle. Your linebackers, number 45, Ian Newsom, number 25, Jake Wiesenberg, number 24, Chris Kuhn. Flag goes flying. Hudorf finding Moen out in the flat. He's going to be short of the first down. However, like I said, there is a flag down. If it is offensive, then perhaps Meadowdale has a decision to make, as Monin was short of the first down. You force them into a 4th down, and it would be about a 5-yard distance to go, or you push them back and take the penalty. We'll find out what they decide to do here. Your secondary for Meadowdale. Your corners are number 1, Sam Leiper, and your other corner is number 8, Cedric Washington. Your safeties, number 11, Tristan Alstead, and the other safety, number 2, London Dubois. We already mentioned Julius Hudorf, the quarterback for Linwood. They are, in fact, going to move the ball back here. We still are waiting for that call. On a false start, so okay, we will play that one again, just moving the ball back. Your Linwood offensive line tonight, your left tackle is number 75, Blake Reed Henderson. Your left guard, number 71, Miles Golston. Your center is number 62, David Livingston. Your right guard, the freshman, number 77, Caden and Tapia. And your right tackle is number 56, Christopher Colfie. Hudorf out into the flat, complete. Well short of the first down. It was 3rd and 14 going into the play. Tanner Fahey making the catch. Give him a gain of 3 yards on the play. That brings up a 4th and 11 for Linwood here. Decision time. We just mentioned Fahey, all Wesco wide receiver last year. He's wearing the number 8. Sean Moen had the big return earlier, number 7. He's another starting receiver. Miguel Hurtado. It's a name you'll hear quite a bit tonight. He plays the slot. He's number 10. He's also the kicker, or I should say the punter for Linwood. 2nd team all Wesco last year. Also plays a lot on the defensive side of things. And, of course, Anthony Hooker, a name that we'll be calling quite a bit tonight. He is your starting halfback wearing the number 35. Your starting fullback. Gavin Kincaid, number 54. Hurtado back in punt formation. Going to get a whistle with a couple of flags. A little bit of a messy start here in the first 3 minutes. Quite a bit of laundry on the field. We've had blindside blocks, false starts, holds. You have a bingo card and you're playing that right now and trying to keep up with everything that's happening in this game. You're getting lots of checkoffs. Let's put it that way. 4th and 16 now coming up. Hurtado at his own 44-yard line. Ball's going to take a bounce and a Linwood roll after that. Hurtado's kick finally coming to a rest at the 14-yard line. Nice kick there. About a 29-yard punt with no return. And Meadowdale now for the first time tonight brings their offense out onto the field. Led out there by their starting quarterback, number 6, Tyler Brummett. Brummett, 6 foot, 175-pound junior QB. Running backs, Sam Liebeer. He had 2 touchdowns in that opening game against Shorecrest, a win for them. Number 45, Ian Newsom. And number 11, Tristan Alstead, your other running back. Speaking of running, that's exactly what Meadowdale does. First play of the game. Newsom with the carry, number 45. Anthony Hooker making the tackle there. He likes to run the ball. He also likes to tackle runners when he's not in there for Linwood. Another dive play for Meadowdale. Another first down and more. Newsom, left side, past midfield. Finally taken down, or is he? Still up at the 40-yard line. Spun down at the 39. Huge gain. 39-yard gain for Ian Newsom. They needed a couple of yards for a first down. He got a lot more than that. Right through the middle, cuts it out to the left. Showing toughness, showing speed. Mavs into Linwood territory for the first time tonight. Alstead in motion. Handoff up the middle. Chris Kuhn getting his first carry of the night, number 24. We'll get you those Meadowdale offensive linemen here in just a minute as they're grading some nice, big, huge holes and running gaps here early on. Liebeer in motion. Dive play up the middle. Kuhn, one more carry. Worked the last time. Why not try it one more time? 3rd and 3 coming up. Meadowdale wasting very little time getting right back to the line. Need to get to the 30-yard line for a first down. This time a pitch. Alstead. Corner. First down and more. Dives beyond the 30-yard line. Spotted right around the 26. A gain of 7 on the play. Let's right now try to give you the Meadowdale rundown here for starting offensive linemen. Your tackles tonight are number 70, Carlos Mejia, and number 56, Henry Gates. Your starting guards, number 71, Joseph Iglesias, and number 54, Luis Martinez Ibarra. Your starting center is number 72, Chauncey Gant. Also starting at wide receiver tonight, number 12, Cameron McCormick. Keeper this time. Looks like Brummett up the middle. And a late flag thrown right into the middle. 2 flags thrown. I'm not sure if it's 2 different officials seeing the same thing or perhaps 2 different altercations. We'll find out here. Rounding out your starting lineup there for Meadowdale, your starting tight end tonight, number 25, Jake Wisenberg. Good to have the fans back in the stands, by the way. We're looking out here. Got triggered there as Tom Davis just announced, the PA announcer, that no artificial noisemakers allowed in the stands. And it just reminded me that we have fans in the stands tonight as we move into phase 3, and happy to see everybody coming back now. Happy to see Linwood and Meadowdale going at it here. If you're just tuning in, Linwood with the opening drive. Sean Monin bringing the kickoff out past the 50-yard line. And a penalty that was tacked on to the end of that gave them the ball at the Meadowdale 38 to start. Meadowdale defense rising to the occasion. Forced a Linwood punt. Meadowdale taking the ball over at their own 14, and now they're on the go here as Ian Newsom breaking off a big run early on, putting them into Linwood territory. And with 6:43 to go here in the first quarter, pretty much got you caught up here. Your Linwood starting defense tonight. Your secondary, number 15, Jordan Whittle. He's the left corner. Your right corner, number 4, Ethan Pook. He had a return for a touchdown last week, an interception against Shorewood. Your starting safeties, we've already mentioned them earlier. Sean Monin, number 7, and Miguel Hurtado. We're going to get an unsportsmanlike penalty, so this ball getting pushed way back right now. The first down marker is at the 17-yard line. Meadowdale is going to have this ball spotted at their own 46. 2 penalties there. So first and a country mile here. Scoreboard is showing first and... That's not right there. The scoreboard is showing first and 46. Ball is at the 46. Looks like it's a first and 37, though. Or second down and 37. So they need to go a long ways to get a first down here. Brummett under center. Looking to throw this time. Rolling out to the right. Throws it into the flat. Pass is completed at midfield and taken down immediately at the 49-yard line. Sean Monin in on the tackle. Colton Leaf with the catch, the tight end, the senior. Getting some of those yards back anyway. Rain continues to fall, blowing slightly to the north right now. You might be able to pick some of that up in the camera there. North is the direction also that Meadowdale is heading into right now. Just hit the 6-minute mark, halfway through the first quarter, no score. Talked to Keontae Bankhead, the Linwood head coach, last night on a radio show that I do up in Everett. Handoff dive up the middle. Give him a gain of 4. It's going to bring up 4th and very long on the play. Ian Newsom with the carry. Keontae was pointing out that this is year number 10 for him as the head coach at Linwood. He's yet to beat Meadowdale. Love to have a chance here tonight. I know he and his coaching staff excited for the opportunity, hoping that perhaps this is their year. So feeling good, certainly after the game last week. Cole Sargent into punt. 4th and 28 to go. Sean Monin back to receive, standing at his own 7-yard line. We were talking to Roger O'Neill before the game. Teacher at Meadowdale, head basketball coach, alum, historian. Sargent has the ball go over his head, picks it up at the 30. Is he going to find enough room to try to get this kickoff? We're going to get another penalty marker down. Sargent tackled at the 35-yard line, a loss of 20 on the play. Turnover on downs. It will be Linwood football, and I have a feeling that penalty might be against Meadowdale as well. As I saw somebody out there throw a huge block, and they're really starting to look into calling more of these blindside blocks. It's starting to, not just in the high school game, really across the board, college, pros, looking out for safety, obviously with certainly CTE issues and other things going on these days. trying to make the game safer, but at times, I don't know, I don't want to get too opinionated here, but there are times when you're just out there playing football and defensive player turns his head and you just don't notice that, and you go to throw a block, he doesn't see it, and you get called for a blindside. So we'll see if that's what's the case here. Is it looked as though while Sargent was scrambling out to his left, one of his blockers came back and leveled the Linwood defensive player pretty hard, and that might be what they're calling here. Referees are over talking to Keontae Bankhead right now. Here we go.
Penalties.
Still waiting for the official announcement.
Personal foul. Blind 2. That penalty is declined. Ball's over on downs. First down, Linwood.
Well, apparently they're going to say it's declined. A personal foul, though, should have been assessed, I would have thought, but I'm not sure how that works. Either way, I guess because it was happening in action, they're not going to assess the penalty. But, however, Linwood football turnover on downs at the 35-yard line of Meadowdale. Anthony Hooker immediately getting the carry there and picking up 4, maybe 5 yards on the play. So Linwood with their second possession tonight, and for the second time, they're already into Meadowdale territory. Meadowdale able to rise to the occasion the first time around. We'll see if they can do it again here. In motion, that's Moan getting tripped up by the shoestrings there. And guess who? That's a name we're going to call quite a bit tonight. Ian Newsom on the tackle. Also, during the radio show that I do for 1380 KRKO, we had Mark Leone on last night. Mark Leone is the head coach for Archbishop Murphy. Talking to him a little bit about the Meadowdale game last week. Murphy picking up a 35-6 win over Meadowdale. Asked Mark to give us an assessment of Meadowdale because we knew Bankhead was coming up on the show next. He singled out Ian Newsom, just really loved the kind of game he played and said, hey, Coach, if you want to get ready for Meadowdale, make sure you know where number 45 is. And sure enough, comes up with a big tackle there. Hudorf scrambling out to the left, crunched by a handful of Meadowdale Maverick defenders. Picking up a few hard yards on that one. Let's see where they spot it here. It's going to bring up 4th and short, and actually more yards than I initially thought he had there. About a 4-yard gain. I'm going to keep it here for just a moment. So your Meadowdale players, we've pretty much run through. Let's go ahead and run through the Meadowdale defense here just to make sure we got everybody. So again, your two nose tackles and guards. Justice Williams, number 42, and Chauncey Gant, number 72. Your 2 defensive ends, Luis Martinez Ibarra, he's number 54. Colton Leith is number 34. You already mentioned Newsom, Wisenberg, and Kuhn are your linebackers. Liebier and Washington, number 1 and number 8 are your corners. Your safeties are Alstead and Dubois. Hooker up the middle, needing 2 yards for a first down on a 4th down play. Picks it up and then some. We're going to move the chains here. Hooker is a workhorse. They like to go to him as much as possible. 5'10", 184-pound junior. Had 100 yards plus last week. Ian Newsom one more time on the tackle. Handoff, Hooker one more time. Tackled around the feet and then finished off with a couple of his teammates, or a couple of the Meadowdale Maverick teammates helping out one another. That was Chauncey Gant going low on him. Ian Newsom up high. Mr. Hooker and Mr. Newsom getting to know each other very well tonight on both sides of the football. Going to call that a no gain. And just fired up the YouTube channel here as well. Again, I work in here as a one-person on-air crew, if you will, as we're trying to keep everybody safe and spaced out up in the booth. We do have the window open, so there's that. Hudorf scrambling out to the side there. Ends up going out and getting hit right as he went out of bounds. Those are kind of the dangerous plays where you sometimes see penalties flag. Referee's letting them play there a little bit as Wiesenberg came over for the tackle. Brings up a 3rd and maybe 11 situation. It looks like he might have lost a yard on the play. 3rd down, 11 to go. Number 21, Paul Holman, is the kicker for Linwood in case we get to a point here where they might consider that. Need to get to the 13 for a first down. Hudorf out into the flat, cracked! Saw that one coming from here. Slybeer just waiting for that one. Hudorf floating that one up to Hooker. Hooker with his back to Lybeer. Lybeer just came over and cracked him in the back. Dislodged the football. No catch for Hooker. Incomplete. That brings up a big 4th and 11. And starting to go through the chat here a little bit. Good to see that we've got some people watching. Somebody's asking, how did Mount Lake Terrace do tonight? Not good. I saw the score at halftime a little while ago. I believe it was 36-0 against Shorecrest. Scott's doing a pretty good number on them. Hudorf, left side or right side rather, towards the end zone. Completed out of bounds. There is a penalty marker down. Tanner Fahey, the intended receiver. A couple of 8s playing against each other out there. The other one being Cedric Washington on the defense. Meadowdale cheering. So if this is on Linwood, they can refuse it, and it will be Meadowdale football, and it is. So we turn over on downs. Meadowdale kind of doing that bend but don't break thing here tonight. Twice Linwood's had the ball in their territory. Twice they've come away denied with 0 points. So we're working on getting you some more scores here later on tonight as well. That's the beauty of these 8 o'clock games, is you do occasionally get those scores. Quentin Bourget, who recognize that name? Former Meadowdale greats making a comment there. Hunter Moen, another one. QB1 here for a little while. Watching his successor here at quarterback. Ball is fumbled. It's on the ground. It's picked up by Linwood. That play never really had a chance. It looked like it was a struggle from the get-go. I don't know if it was a center snap issue or Brummett just never had the ball. Whatever it is, it's Linwood football. That ball squirting away. The Royals jumping on it. And 3rd time tonight already they've had the ball in Meadowdale territory. This time, they've got it into the red zone. They're on the 18-yard line for this one. Royals football, let's see what they can do, and I do appreciate the pronunciation there for Anatipa, number 77, the big fella for Linwood. That's a name that I should get to know because I think we're going to be hearing it for a while. Again, only a freshman, 6'2", 290, plays both sides of the football. Hudorf looking to throw. He's got an opening in the end zone. Incomplete. That ball could have gone either way. Trying to get a... That ball was intended for Dion Baker. Dion is the backup quarterback. Looks like Alstead was the one that had the defense on the play. Baker, second string quarterback. He actually is the one that came in the game last week during the final minute of the first half and threw a 64-yard bomb to Sean Moen and completed that one down to the 5. And then they scored. Baker actually completed the drive and threw a touchdown to play 2 plays later. Handoff, right side, looking to get something going, and they do so. Let's see who that is. The big fella, there's a fullback carry right there. I thought that might have been the case. Gavin Kincaid getting the carry. And asked Bankhead about that, Keontae Bankhead, the Linwood head coach, and said, Dion Baker's just one of those guys, we need to get him on the field. He's one of our most athletic players, 5'9", 150 pounds. He's a sophomore. And he was the one that they threw for there a moment ago, trying to get a touchdown out of him. And we now look at 3rd and 5 from the 13-yard line. Under a minute to go, first quarter, no score. We're going to get a whistle here. I believe it's a timeout. It is. So for Linwood to take a quick break here, let's go ahead and look at a few other things here. Again, both teams coming into this game 1-1 tonight. 5-game schedule, so don't forget that. It's a little bit different this year. We're going to knock out 5 games, get those out of the way, and then move on to the next sport. Everything is kind of condensed so that we can have a spring sports season. We really need a spring sports season. They didn't get anything last year, so good that those guys can get ready to go here sooner than later, and boys and girls, I should say, for that matter, getting ready for their sports seasons. And again, it is definitely 2021. Right now we have our PA announcers getting on the system right now and reminding everybody of where to sit. There are various, you almost need a guide of some sort to know how to navigate around this place right now. There's caution tape everywhere. There's blue tape. There's yellow tape. There's X's. There's trying to keep everybody spaced out in pods, socially distanced, the whole works here. 3rd and 5 coming up. Here we go. Hudorf looking to throw. He's got a man wide open. He's got a touchdown. The Linwood Royals on the board first. Had to confirm it. It is, in fact, number 8, Tanner Fahey. The senior, all-league player last year, coming off an injury. And he's back in a big way. Got a touchdown last week. Gets another one tonight. And with 48 seconds to go here in the first quarter, Linwood strikes first. The Royals, and we tried to do a little research on this earlier. I started to mention it. We're not sure when the Royals last defeated the Meadowdale Mavericks. We know it wasn't in the last decade. Just trying to ask Roger O'Neill if he can remember a game. He couldn't. Perhaps this is their night. We'll find out. Holman onto the field. The kick is up. And the kick is good. It took us 11 minutes and 12 seconds, but we finally have a score tonight. Linwood out in front, 7-0. Time to find out if Meadowdale can answer the call and see if they can respond. We're going to find out in just a moment. You're watching Hawk TV, HBN. Meadowdale out to receive the kick. Linwood bringing their guys out. Again, going through the chat here a little bit. Quentin Bourget, good to hear from you. Appreciate you with the shout out there. Got to call quite a few of those playoff games for your Meadowdale team a few years back. Looks like we've got Dion Baker's cousin. Is that who that is? Quincy Sato watching the game. Also giving a shout out to Caden, Jaron, and Adrian. Got a few Go Royals calls out on there. Good to see people watching. And by the way, getting handed a note here, that last drive, 4 plays, 18 yards. It's a 52-second drive, and those stats coming to us courtesy from Doug Podrowski, who's sitting right down below us here. Appreciate all the things that he is bringing us tonight. And Quincy, you just asked me a question. I'll answer that for you here in just a moment. Meadowdale kickoff. One of the Upmen bringing it back. That's number 12, Cameron McCormick, sophomore wide receiver. Going to bring that ball out to the 34. Quincy's asking me when or who Linwood plays next. And you know what? I just happen to have that information. Don't ask me if you're Meadowdale. I need to look that one up at halftime, but that's another story. Linwood next week. There's 2 more games left. Linwood is going to be here each of the next 2 weeks. So they finish out their season here at Edmonds Stadium. They've got Edmonds Woodway at 5 p.m. next Friday night. And then the following week, Thursday, April 1st, 8 p.m. start time, they're going to be taking on Mount Lake Terrace. And both of those games will be broadcasted right here on HBN Hawk TV. Okay, time to find out if Meadowdale is ready to respond here. Offense back out on the field. Kind of been their own worst enemy so far here with some of these penalties pushing them back at times. Fumble on the play again. Mavs do, in fact, recover this one, however. Really, that ball's a little bit slippery right now, and a few struggles going on out there. It's going to be a loss of 2 on the play. Let's see if they elect to get another playoff here. The game clock is lower right now than the play clock. So if they wanted to, they could wait for triple zeros and take a quick break and reassess, or they could get a playoff here. We're showing 8 seconds left on the clock. McCormick, number 12, he's lined up here out to the right. Alstead goes in motion. We get a whistle there. And we get a whistle because those triple zeros ran up on us here. The end of the first quarter is here. Linwood, a rare opportunity for them. They are ahead of Meadowdale after 1 quarter of play. It is the Royals 7, the Mavericks 0. You're watching Hawk TV, HPN. We get ready for the second quarter of action right now. Meadowdale with the football, and we did pull up the schedule here. Let's go ahead and just read you this because it involves both of these teams. So 2 more football doubleheaders coming up over the next 2 weeks. 5 o'clock starts and 8 o'clock starts. Let's go ahead and give you the lineup here. Next Friday night, a week from tonight, this very Linwood Royals team that you're watching right now, they're taking on the Edmonds Woodway Warriors, the undefeated Warriors. That game's going to start at 5 p.m., and then following that game, the Meadowdale Mavericks, the other team we're watching right now, they're going to take on the Shorecrest Scots, a Shorecrest team that looks awfully good right now. They're 2-1 to start their season with their 1 loss coming last week against Edmonds Woodway. And then the following week on Thursday night, not Friday, but Thursday night, the rivalry games. We got a 5 o'clock start at Meadowdale versus Edmonds Woodway, and then 8 o'clock Linwood versus Mount Lake Terrace. All 4 games that I just mentioned right here on Hawk TV HPN, all here at Edmonds Stadium. Meadowdale now running to the north side. Liebeer with a handoff. Liebeer getting taken down hard. Sean Monin coming up with a big stick. Little misdirection play there. Monin wasn't having it. Liebeer not finding much space to run with there. 3rd and 9 coming up. Seen that over the last week, having a chance to watch him. Monin can hit. He's number 7. He brings a pop when he hits you. 44-yard line is where they need to get to for the first down. Alstead goes in motion. Newsom up the middle. Picks up 6 yards on the play. 4th and 3. So what do you do right now if you're Meadowdale? I say 4th and 3. It might be a long 3 at that. The ball is almost placed on the 40-yard line. They need to get to the 44. It looks like Coach Harmon has made his decision. Let's bring the kicking team on. We've got one of the better kickers in the area, one of the better punters in Cole Sargent. Let the senior punt it away. Let your defense come back out onto the field as Monin, number 7, drops back to the 25. Set to receive the punt. We get another whistle here. Timeout Linwood. So Linwood needing a moment to adjust. Not exactly the ideal time to take a timeout when it's 4th and 4 and you're about to get the ball, but then again, perhaps you're looking out for some sort of trickery, making sure you've got your players in place and ready to go. And I just noticed something. I think this is the first time this year we can say this. Both sets of cheerleaders tonight. Got Meadowdale off to the right side, Linwood down to the left. Good to have the fans back. Good to have the cheerleaders in attendance. Good to have the cheerleaders out here and not having to worry about turning around and not seeing anybody in the stands to cheer for. So, again, numbers are restricted here. It's our first night of football with fans in the stands. Good-looking crowd out here. Everybody's spreading out. Noticing that the Meadowdale crew over here to our right, they have a flag they're flying in the front row. Meadowdale cheer squad, by the way, that's a big-sized group there in terms of numbers. About 25 girls, maybe? I think I just counted 26 Meadowdale cheerleaders out there. Linwood also well represented. Smaller group of 8 of them over there. But again, nice to see these ladies out here rooting on their team and bringing an ambiance to the game that we haven't had lately with no fans in the stands. Sargent with a kick off the side of his foot, shanked this one. Ball bounces at the 48, rolls across midfield and stops at the 46. 14-yard kick. Linwood already up by 7, looking to get something else going. Bringing that offense back out onto the field one more time. Got those road white uniforms, the light gold numbers. Not exactly the easiest numbers in the world to read. We're getting some challenges tonight. We had Shorewood earlier. Shorewood with white on white with very thin-looking numbers. Linwood a little bit better to read, but still challenging through the binoculars at times nonetheless. Case in point, when Fahey caught that touchdown in the far corner, wasn't sure exactly who it was at first. We get a pitch here. Carry off to the left tackle, past midfield. Waiting for them to pile to see who that was. Apparently that was, in fact, Hooker one more time. Five-yard gain. Chauncey Gant getting credit for the tackle. So Linwood once again in Meadowdale territory. A familiar place for them tonight. Had a few opportunities to score from here. Hard run off the left one more time. Hooker with a 3-yard pickup there. Grinding it out for some tough yardage. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 2. Want to give a shout out too to some folks who might be watching tonight. Was texting with James Harmon earlier, the head football coach for Meadowdale. Special group of guys who have a very storied past at Meadowdale and certainly are legends in their own from their own time here. Another pitch, another carry, another first down potentially right around the marker. It looks like, depending on the spot. And Hooker one more time with a no, that was Kincaid that time, I think. Number 54 with the carry. Newsom in on the tackle. Coach Harmon was telling me that we've got a few different players, or a handful of players from around the country from that 1972 Meadowdale Chiefs football team. You know, that they don't want to be confused with there since they played in a different era. That Meadowdale team in 1972, team that's been inducted into the Snohomish County Sports Hall of Fame, the team that went undefeated and finished second in the state, although you can make an argument for them being state champs. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. Another set of whistles here. We're going to get a timeout. We'll keep it here for a minute. So 1972, and I believe, if memory serves me correctly, not from back in the day because I wasn't around for that, but from what we've read and what we've been told in the past from talking to those guys at a couple of other opportunities, I believe 1972 was the last year that Washington State did not have a state football playoff. Back in those days, they didn't have tournaments at the end of the season. There were no playoffs. There wasn't a state championship crowned in a championship game, but rather it was done by a ranking system, similar to what college did not too long ago. So I would imagine the Associated Press and some of those other folks in the journalism world, sports writers from around the state, would actually vote and come out with their own polls and take numbers based on that. And the team that was ranked number 1 based on those polls was crowned state champ at the end of the year. Meadowdale finished second in the poll. Wenatchee, who was a powerhouse back in the day, and I believe, if I remember correctly, I think Wenatchee had a loss that season. So Meadowdale finished second in the polls. They never got to play Wenatchee in a championship game. Wenatchee was given the pseudo title, if you will, of state champion. Meadowdale finished undefeated, finished second. We're back to play here. Hooker with a carry up the middle. Meadowdale stuffing him there at the line. That would make the 72 guys proud right there. Newsom in on the tackle one more time. Go figure. We hear that name a lot. Martinez Ibarra also in on the tackle. So the Meadowdale guys, they've been around a while. I know they're starting to spread out a little bit all throughout the country. Some of the guys are in Arizona and other places. And I'll tell you another cool story about that here in just a moment. Because until today, I didn't realize that Coach Harmon was keeping that close of tabs on them. It's a pretty neat thing. I'm glad he's doing that. And we'll get into that here in just a moment. 2nd and 9 coming up. Hurtado in motion. He's going to get the catch out on the left side there. Spun down to the ground, but not before picking up a first down. Hurtado in motion. Just kind of a little bit of a drag pattern on an out pattern out to the left side there. Hudorf dropped back. Hit them. They pick up some yardage. They pick up a first down, and we move the chains one more time. Linwood first down, 31-yard line. Already up 7-0. Man in motion one more time. Little misdirection, a handoff finally. Gain of maybe 1 on the play. Anthony Hooker, guess who? One more carry there. And I feel like we should just get my voice on a loop saying Ian Newsom on the tackle. As many times as I've said it tonight so far, you think I'd be able to say it just without stumbling on myself there. But Ian Newsom making a lot of plays here tonight and makes another one there. 1-yard gain. Linwood this time looking to throw. Hudorf rolling out to the right, throws it into the flat. Monin, I don't know how he caught that one. A little bit off his back shoulder. He started to bobble it there. He was hit by number 45, Newsom, and Newsom's contact might have shoved that ball right back into Monin's breadbasket. He wrapped his arms around it, came up with the catch. Not much of a gain on the play, only a couple of yards there, but nonetheless comes up with a catch, and we're going to see a 3rd and 8 coming up from the 29. Hurtado and Monin lining up out to the left. Fahey to the right. They're going to throw a fade to Fahey down the right sideline. Incomplete. Cedric Washington with the defense there. Second time tonight we've seen Washington and Fahey go head-to-head there on a play down the field. And for the second time, Washington doing a nice job of kind of riding him out to the edge of the field there, and that ball was just overthrown. And again, a pair of 8s playing up against one another there. A good matchup. It's going to bring up a 4th and 8. So here we go again. Linwood trying to convert and get a first down. They need to get to the 21-yard line. 3-receiver set. You got Dion Baker out there, it looks like, on the left also. Steps up a little bit with those yellow shoes. Hudorf looks to the right again. Timing pattern for Fahey, incomplete. And that will give the ball back over to Meadowdale. So once again, Linwood getting into Meadowdale territory. Once again, Meadowdale rising to the challenge and coming up with another big stop. It's going to keep it at a 7-0 game here. Meadowdale football with 6:21 to go. Meadowdale huddling up once again, looking to get something going here. I want to thank everybody who's helping us here behind the scenes as well. Heather Miles, a senior at Melick Terrace High School, running the show up here in the booth. She's working with our camera crew and flipping screens around and doing all that other good stuff. Student run program. Flag flies from the far side of the field. We'll see what the call is here. And our camera crew tonight, Brad Bennett and Dave Marriott. Name sounds familiar. Husband of Beth Marriott, the athletic director at Meadowdale High School. We told Roger O'Neill he's in charge of getting us a few scores at some point tonight, so we'll see if he can hook us up there with a little March Madness. So weird to be thinking about March Madness during a football game. That's a first for us. And they're going to call an illegal formation against Meadowdale. That's going to push them back 5 more yards. The 24-yard line is where the ball will sit. Meadowdale once again. Bringing the offense out to the field. Lieber goes in motion. Dive up the middle. Nicely done. Squirting through the hole and getting out to the 33-yard line. Christopher Kuhn on the carry again. Had to make sure we had the number right. Picks up the yardage that was lost with the penalty and then some. Brings up a 2nd and 7 right now. 2nd and 5 they're going to call it. Okay, so you picked up 10 yards on the play. Went back to the well there one more time. This time Linwood ready for it. Kuhn trying to find some space. Couldn't find much. Noah Gugwehi, number 5, in on the tackle. Going to give him a 1-yard gain. Kuhn heading out. Newsom coming in to replace him. I still need to finish my Meadowdale 1972 story. We haven't forgotten. We'll get to that here in just a moment. Lieber in motion one more time. A dive to Newsom. First down and then some. Gets on out to the 39-yard line, or 44-yard line, rather. 9-yard gain. Meadowdale 2 consecutive first downs here, moving the chains. Trying to get something going here. Down by 7, 4:46 to go, first half. Sean Monin getting the tackle on the play. So the 1972 Meadowdale Mavericks recently inducted into the Snohomish County Sports Hall of Fame as a team. Had them on our radio show for the Prep Sports Weekly show on 1380 KRKO up in Everett. Informed James Harmon, the coach of Meadowdale, that we were going to have a couple of their members on the show. And of course, I found out some information late tonight, so I'm going to do some of this off memory. Lieber with a pitch. Gets a little head of steam, and then some. Stays in bounds. Tiptoes along that sideline. Nice cut move there. It looked like he was going to go flying out of bounds. Stopped on a dime. Got further down the field. Picked up extra yards. Ended up getting 15 before it was all said and done. Lieber showing that speed off a little bit. And Meadowdale's on the move once again. So we had a couple of the members on the 1972 team on the radio show. I told James Harmon we were going to do it. James asked me to put me in contact with him. He said he wants to reach out to the guys and try to stay connected and make sure that they're part of the Meadowdale football family. Brummett back under center one more time. 3:54 to go here, first half. Meadowdale on the move. Handoff up the middle. Some rough yardage there, but finally getting tackled after a couple yards. Chris Kuhn one more time. So apparently, unbeknownst to me, Harmon, not only did he reach out to the guys, he stayed connected with them. He's been keeping in touch with them a little bit and was going to pass along our link and have some of those guys watch the game tonight. So I'm certainly hoping that's the case. And this is where I failed to do some research because I got the text from Coach Harmon a little bit late, so forgive me on this one. But the Meadowdale head coach from 1972, at least from a few months back when we did the interview, still living in the Arizona area. I believe he's in his late 80s now. Brummett, back under center one more time. 2nd and 7 coming up. And stopped in the backfield there. Brummett keeping the ball. And the big fella, I better go back here. I got to make sure we're getting this one right? You guys will correct me if we're not. Anatipa, there we go. Anatipa. Only a freshman. We got to show him more respect than that. Wrapping him up right away, making the big tackle there. So a handful of those Meadowdale guys off the 1972 team, they were getting ready to head down to meet up with Coach. I guess it was late last summer, trying to do so in a safe manner, obviously, during a pandemic. And we're going to present him with a ring. I guess they were doing class rings for that 1972 undefeated team, and we're going to go meet up with him and see how he's doing and check in some of the guys that live down in the area. And I know Coach Harmon mentioned he wants to stay connected to those guys, and I'm not sure there may or may not have been a Zoom call at some point. I know he was even hoping at some point that maybe some of the guys could speak to his team. So nice connection. Nice to know that Coach Harmon recognizes the historical impact that those guys had on that team in the community, wants to keep them in the family, even though it's many years ago. And obviously teachers have retired. People have passed on. People have moved on. They're still bringing them around and making sure they're connected to Meadowdale. So really cool story there. So good for James for doing that. Brummett dropping back to pass. He eludes a couple of tacklers. Throws it deep. He's got a man. Incomplete. Broken up at the last second. Hurtado. London Dubois was the intended receiver for a moment. Dubois was open. Hurtado, recognizing it, hauled on over there, got there, timed it out perfectly. As soon as the ball got there, he was ready to defend. If he gets over there a split second later, Meadowdale's probably looking at 1st and 10 right around the 10 or 15-yard line. Instead, 4th and 15 from their own 46-yard line, and therefore Cole Sargent back in the ball game, ready to punt it away one more time with 2:05 to go here in the half. Monin dropping back. We're gonna have some whistles here. And I told Coach Harmon we'd do another shout out here because I'm a big fan of the Harmon family. I had a chance to meet them at an Everett Aqua Sox baseball game a couple of years ago when I was working, and they stopped by. Wife Marilyn and kids James and Brooklyn. Great family, fun kids. Had an enjoyable conversation with them and seeing the baseball that they had that day and everything else. And they're watching Dad on the screen tonight, so we certainly welcome them and wish everybody well. I know James likes to be out here around the team at times and has helped Dad on the sideline, and I'm sure he will be doing that again soon. So James, Brooklyn, Mom, hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're enjoying watching Dad's game, and sure you're hoping for some better results here, but still, it's good to see Dad back out on the sideline, right? We've got a timeout here, 4th and 10 coming up, 41-yard line. Linwood with the 7-0 lead as we continue to get ever so closer to the halftime break. At halftime, we'll maybe turn the volume down for a few minutes, and I'll try to get some scores from other games going on, as I know there are quite a few things going on this evening. Archbishop Murphy, the team that Meadowdale got to know fairly well, maybe a little bit more than they wanted to last week. And Archbishop Murphy hosting Glacier Peak tonight. That's going to be a tough game. You know, they're battling for the Mayor's Cup up in Everett tonight. The Everett Seagulls and the Cascade Bruins. Saw Cassie Franklin, the mayor of Everett, tweeting that out earlier. It's kind of fun that the mayor recognizes that that's a big game and that the two rivals are playing each other. I think they also call that game the Battle for Broadway, or at least they have in the past, since they both play at the stadium there on Broadway. 4th and 10, pass over the middle, incomplete. Linwood will take over once again. So apparently, Meadowdale deciding during that timeout that they were willing a chance. They're going to go for it. Why not? They're already on this side of the field. Rather than punt, going for the first down. Ball is incomplete. Linwood takes over at their own 41-yard line. 2 minutes to go on the clock. However, they are out of timeouts. Now, having said that, I made that exact same point last week with 1:17 to go, where they took over on their own, I believe it was 15-yard line after a Shorewood touchdown. And what did they do? They threw a 64-yard bomb. I think it was the very next play, set up a touchdown. So let's see how they're going to play this one out here. Hooker with a carry left side, brought down after a 1-yard gain. I'm liking this. Seeing some names from the past on these comments, too. I already missed it here as I glanced at it a minute ago. I think I saw Nate Aber a minute ago. Hope he's doing well. Good to see some of these names that we've called out before. Riley Monin giving a shout out to Shawnee. Hey, Valerie Fogel says Meadowdale class of 72 is her class. That incredible team. Catch. Pitch and catch for the first down there. Past midfield. Tanner Fahey, number 8, with another reception. If I saw correctly there, I think Valerie might have mentioned that she's a proud Nana now. So did she mention earlier that she's got a son on one of these teams? If you did, Valerie, shout it out to me again, and we'll make sure we mention that. So we talk about the class of 72 football team, and lo and behold, we've got a class of 72 watching this evening. First and 10, 43-yard line. Hudorf throwing it back against the grain there. Hooker, screen pass. Gains 4 on the play. Chris Kuhn coming up to make a stop. Again, Linwood out of timeouts. Clock will only stop on an incomplete pass. If they go out of bounds or if they get a first down, it'll stop long enough to move the chains. Hey, the Kirkmans are cheering from Arizona. There's a Linwood family we know about. Good to see them in the house. Hudorf looking to throw deep. Left side, incomplete. Fahey, the intended receiver. They relocate down to Arizona, yet they're still supporting their Royals. We love it. Oh, okay. Valerie Fogel just pointed out that Tyler Brummett, the quarterback, is her grandson. Okay, so representing her in all sorts of ways tonight. We're watching her grandson play football out here for Meadowdale, the starting quarterback, and talking about her beloved 1972 Meadowdale football team. Very cool indeed. It's 3rd and 6 coming up. 17 seconds showing on the clock. A little surprised there. They're going to keep it on the ground. This might run the clock out. They can't stop it. Apparently trying to catch them off guard. Hooker with the carry. Down to 7 seconds to go, and they don't seem to be in any too much of a hurry right now, so the clock ticks. And that's going to be it. We've reached the triple zeros once again. A defensive affair tonight. Two teams, both have threatened at times. Both have been denied. And we head to the half with Linwood leading Meadowdale 7-0. It's a good one here. Let your family and friends know we're going to be back here in just a few minutes. We're going to keep the cameras on, so we're going to mute the sound right now, but you'll be able to watch the cheer squads, watch everything else going on. So don't go anywhere. We'll turn the audio back up here in a few minutes, and we'll get right back with you with some stats and get you ready to go for the second half. A good one here at Edmond Stadium tonight. You're watching Hawk TV HBN.
Yeah.
And welcome back once again from Edmonds Stadium. Big battle tonight, a close game. We knew it was going to be so. Didn't realize we were going to have this much defense. Both teams threatening at times, and yet we've only got 7 points on the board. Linwood 7, Meadowdale 0. Tanner Fahey with the only touchdown of the night. Pass from his quarterback, Julius Hudorf. Going to see what happens here in the second half. And joining us right now, although you can't see him on the camera, social distancing, right? It's a pandemic. He's sitting down below us here. We've given him a headset. He's keeping stats for us. It's our very own Doug Podrowski. And Doug, I'm going to bring you up on the mic here right now. You've got some stats you've been keeping for us. What's jumping out at you right now?
Well, what's jumping out to me is how close and balanced the stats are also. Time of possession, Linwood's 13 minutes, 13:27, Meadowdale 10:33. Total yardage, Linwood has 68, Meadowdale has 52. That tells you what defense there is in this game. Those total yardage numbers are a little deceiving because of the penalties. Meadowdale's had 5 penalties for 55 yards. That's cut into their total yardage numbers, and it's hurt them on drives. Plus, they had a fumble, and they've turned over the ball on downs twice. So, if Meadowdale can put some things together on the offensive side, there's no doubt that they can come back from an easy 7-point deficit. But Linwood's looking good. Linwood's got a strong running game behind Anthony Hooker's carried the ball 11 times. Now, he's only got 21 yards, but he's a workhorse that's pounding away at that defensive line of Meadowdale. So we'll see how that takes any effect, any gusto out of that Meadowdale defensive line. And the passing game of Linwood. Linwood's, they've attempted 6 passes. Julius Hordorf has attempted 10 passes, completed 6 of them for 47 yards.
Okay, there we go. 6 of 10, 47 yards. A lot of passes out into the flats, keeping it simple there. Taking a couple shots downfield, and of course, the one time they were able to connect with Fahey in the far left corner over there. How about rushing stats? Do we have any of those for like Ian Newsom? Do you have that?
Yeah, Ian Newsom carried the ball just 5 times. You're calling his name a lot on defense.
Yeah, a lot on defense. Yeah, we're not keeping defensive stats, but if we were, I think you'd need another sheet at this point.
But Ian Newsom, 5 carries for 65 yards. The team has 52 yards total. So you can see what kind of trouble they're having with penalties and mistakes. They lost 20 yards on a bad snap on the punt. So that cut into their yardage numbers. So,
It's 20 yards that they lost after a 15-yard penalty, I think, right before that. So they were going the wrong way. But, yeah, Newsom we should also mention. And I'm sorry, it was 65 yards?
65 yards. 5 carries, 65 yards.
And 40-something of that, I think, came on one of the carries. So
yeah, 39 yards on 1 carry.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, I would imagine, obviously, in a game where neither team has broken the century mark, he's the leading rusher then for Meadowdale.
Leading rusher of 6 guys have carried the ball for Meadowdale.
6,
so,
wow.
Yeah, they've spread it around. So, but Newsom is the guy that's carried the rushing load in terms of yardage so far.
And remind me again, since you've got everything down there, the touchdown to Fahey, how far out was that?
Yeah, that was a 13-yard touchdown pass that ended a very short drive that was set up on a fumble.
And the one stat we don't have, because you don't know the answer, I don't know the answer, Roger O'Neill doesn't know the answer. We asked him before the game, when was the last time Linwood beat Meadowdale? Doug, you've been covering, I know you cover a lot for MLT News for a while, but you also kind of expand out. You've done some work for My Edmonds News, Linwood Today also. You've never covered a Meadowdale-Linwood game in which Meadowdale has lost. So
I
uncharted territory here.
I don't remember. Linwood's had some tough teams, although I recall the one year I did cover them in a state playoff game down in Tacoma against Lincoln of Tacoma.
Right. A year that they also lost to because Meadowdale also had a team that went to state that year. So they picked the wrong year.
Yeah, that was a good year. I'd have to check my notes over the years. 7 years. I did 7 years covering sports in the area
Well,
for the website. So
I interviewed Keontae Bankett on the radio yesterday for 1380 KRKO. This is his 10th year at Linwood, and he specifically pointed out, I've never beaten Meadowdale. He pointed out, Andrew Katzenberger, one of his assistant coaches, played for him. Never beat Meadowdale. David Harris, one of his assistant coaches, played at the school before Keontae was there, but played for the school in the, I guess it was about 15 years ago range. Doesn't think knows he never beat Meadowdale. So, yeah, generations of Linwood fans, Linwood football players have never beaten these guys. Edmonds School District rivalry. 7-point lead at the half. A lot of football to still be played, and certainly plenty of action to come here, but a rarity at that, and something we haven't seen in a while, so perhaps we'll see that. Doug, thank you as always for the stats, and maybe we'll check in with you again here later on in the third quarter, or maybe at the end of the quarter, and have you enlighten us with a few more details. Thank you for being here tonight.
certainly.
So there you have it. Halftime coming to an end here. And I said I was going to try to get some scores at halftime, and of course I didn't. Again, a lot of moving parts here when we were limited with our resources. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate Doug for being here, though, and keeping those stats for us, keeping us on the track. Last week I was trying to do play-by-play, color commentary, and stats, and it wasn't going very well. So he's certainly making my life a lot easier, trying to read some comments here also at the same time. JC comment is why. I think Becky comment just comment on behalf of JC. Arkansas, is it? I remember JC, I think, lives back east somewhere, but apparently they're checking us out right now. One of the members off that 1972 team. Good to see that. Just kind of going through here and seeing who else is on here right now. Lorna says, take down the banner. The banner is up because we didn't have the game going. It was halftime, so we do have that banner down, or it will be down here when the game starts here in just a moment. Oh, Nate just told me Meadowdale has beaten Linwood for 20. Nate Meadowdale has beaten Linwood for 23 straight years. So Nate apparently has the 411 on that, if that's true. Nate, you know more than Roger O'Neill, and when it comes to Meadowdale trivia, not too many people can say that. So nice pull there, if that's in fact the right number. I was telling Roger earlier, my senior year would have been I'm an old guy. The fall of 1990 was back when Mount Lake Terrace, Linwood, Edmonds, Woodway. Sure, well, who did we have? We had Lake Stevens and Monroe, and Bainbridge was also in Wesco at the time. It was Wesco 2A. There wasn't a 4A back then. 3A was the highest classification in the state. And Linwood won the Wesco 2A title that year. Really solid team with some players who went on to some big things. And I'm assuming they beat Meadowdale that year because, again, they finished on top of the standings. But talking 31 years ago now. So I had a feeling there had been at least one other time between time periods. And again, Linwood, really good team a few years back. That team that went to state, Alton Hammond, Riley Johnson, Kirkman, so many other guys on that team, too many to name. But a team that went to state apparently just ran into a year in which they were extremely good, but so was Meadowdale that year. So again, Linwood looking to make a little history, perhaps. We got a little reunion going on there in the comments from some of the Meadowdale players, Quentin and Nate and the crew. Let's see here. What do we got? Okay, duly noted on the banner thing. They don't like. We'll talk about that later. But hey, all feedback is good feedback. You are absolutely right. We will read these later. So. Got Becky comment making some more comments about the 72 team. I like that we got a nice talk there about that team. Caden Carroll's grandma, Lorna, watching the game tonight. Ooh, there's a big hit. That's one way to start the second half. Gagwehi stepping up and dropping McCormick on the opening kickoff. So 11:56 to go, and away we go here one more time. Looking through some of the comments here in the rosters, and Caden Carroll, number 52 for Linwood, said she's happy the banner was removed so she can see her grandson again. So we like that. So here we go. Big game tonight. Nate Aber thinks it's been 23 years since Linwood has defeated Meadowdale. They hold the 7-0 lead. wearing those road white uniforms. They're on defense. Meadowdale looking to do something about it right now. Brummett, handoff right up the middle. Guess who? Ian Newsom one more time. Tough to avoid when he's trying to tackle you. Tough to stop when he's running the ball. 11-yard pickup on the run. Dive right up the middle. First down. Meadowdale on the move here. Early going third quarter. Edmund Stadium. The rain has stopped for now. The wind's still blowing out to the north a little bit. Meadowdale heading to the south. Another run up the middle. This time Linwood having none of it. Newsom not finding anywhere to run that time. Anthony Hooker in on the tackle as well as a couple of other players. Going to drop for a 2-yard loss there. And Atipa, number 77, coming back into the game. Had somebody on the comments last week tell me, you wait and see. He's going to be a 4-star recruit eventually. He's got a few years to go, but we'll see. Definitely a big guy there. If he can keep himself in shape and keep improving his game, he might have a very bright future. Newsom diving up the middle one more time. Out past the 45-yard line to the 46. A gain of 7 on the play. Talked about the 72 Meadowdale Mavericks, and this is old school football right here. James Harmon handing the ball off and going right up the middle each and every time. Putting that offensive line to use right now. Mejia, Iglesias, Gant, Martinez, Ibarra, Gates. Trying to push holes there, trying to win in the trenches and move this ball down the field. Another dive up the middle. Chris Kuhn this time bounces off a couple of tacklers past the 45-yard line of Linwood and finally brought down at the 44. 10-yard gain for Kuhn. We heard Doug mention it a minute ago. Meadowdale moving the ball around and sharing the love tonight. 6 different guys with carries. We saw a nice big dosage of Newsom for a while there. Now they go back to Kuhn. Meadowdale on the move. 9:52 to go here, third quarter. Grinding it out, just trying to pick up a few yards at a time. The old adage, 3 yards and a cloud of dust. Pitch to Liebeer, trying to find the corner and cut down before he could do so. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a half of a yard, but not much. Gugwehi one more time in on the tackle. Might have had a little help over there as well. Meadowdale, one of those teams that they act like they've got dinner arrangements for a party 2.5 hours after a kickoff. Keep that clock moving, and they get you in and out of here pretty quick. None of these 3-hour games for them. Another handoff up the middle. That'll keep the clock ticking one more time. Grinding out the yardage, getting to the 40-yard line. Kuhn with the carry. Guehi getting in on the tackle one more time. Kevin Williams, appreciate you. See you on there. Thanks for the comment. Almost 3 minutes into the quarter here. Meadowdale looking for the equalizer. Liebeer in motion one more time. Kuhn with the carry. Finds some space along that right side. Out past the 35-yard line. Down to the 32. Moving the chains. Another first down for Meadowdale. If it's not broke, don't try to fix it, and that's exactly what Meadowdale's doing right now. Got that Linwood defense on rollerblades right now. They're moving backwards. Meadowdale, after a quick huddle, Brummett brings them right back out into the lineup. Far right hash mark. Looking to throw this time. Scrambling around. Can't find anything. Penalty marker flies. Brummett gets out of one bind and tries to find some space along the sideline. Finally brought down at the 29. Gain of 3 if it stands. However, that flag around the 45-yard line More than likely, that signifies something's going to be called against the offense here, so that might be coming back. We wait the call one more time. Friend Alex Colossi is sending me a text that Lake Stevens, I don't know if that is, I would imagine that's a final. Lake Stevens defeating Snohomish 35-16. Not a big surprise there. Lake Stevens, I don't think, has lost a Wesco football game in over 7 years.
Holding, offense, left tackle. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Penalty called on Meadowdale. That will push them back. Want to give another shout out to the officials. By the way, the officials who are doing double duty tonight, working both ends of the doubleheader. Tim Stern is your referee. Your umpire is Ted Jones. Corky Traywin is your lineman. Taylor Wadecamp is your line judge. Wes Taylor is your back judge. Lieber looking to swing around to the side there. Nowhere to run to. Nowhere to hide. Quan Harris on the tackle there. Coming up with a huge stop. Meadowdale right now moving the wrong way for so long in this early part of the third quarter. Everything was going downhill. Just made a comment about how Linwood looked like they were on rollerblades, and now all of a sudden Linwood stepping up. Linwood also doing their part to help out with that with a few penalties, but nonetheless, Linwood playing some tough defense. We noted that even 2 weeks ago when we saw them lose to Shorecrest. Final score was 23-0. However, it was 3-0 with 8 minutes to go. Pitch out to the left. Alstead trying to find a place to run. Got away from a couple of tacklers and finally brought down. And maybe after a pickup of 3 yards. So 2nd and 32 becomes 3rd and 29. Just heard a name we haven't been able to call it yet. Camilla in on the play. Third down, 29 yards to go. Meadowdale showing a rare 3-receiver set right now. Looking to pass the ball. Kuhn lead blocking. Brummett rolling out, past the line of scrimmage, takes off running, picks up 6 or 7 yards. Finally shoved out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Picks up 7, gets some of that yardage back. However, 4th and 22 coming up. And Cole Sargent one more time will step onto the field for yet another Meadowdale punt. Sean Monin stepping out, ready to return, standing on his own 19-yard line. Sargent a strong kicker, but the last one he had went off the side of his foot. Traveled all of 14 yards. Let's see if he can get a better one off this time. There you go, much better kick from him. Hits at the 20-yard line. Takes a nice Meadowdale roll and then comes to a just quick stop at the 15. I thought maybe that one was going to even roll further, but no can do on that one. 29-yard kick, however, so it will pin Linwood back inside their own 15-yard line. Their first possession, more than halfway through the third quarter. So Meadowdale certainly eating up a lot of clock on that drive. They just don't have anything to show for it. So Meadowdale once again comes out with their offense.
29 yards of the punt, no return on the play. Linwood start 1st and 10 from their own 15.
Hear the fans cheering a little bit there. Linwood first offensive play of the half. For a brief moment there was an opening, and then it shut rather quickly. I thought that was Sean Moan, and it was. In fact, the wide receiver getting a rare carry. He's going to pick up a couple of yards. Hard-fought yards at that. And we'll give him 3 on the play. Again, a quick game tonight. Meadowdale and Linwood, for that matter, both liking to keep the ball on the ground. Linwood did have 10 pass attempts in the first half. A crazy snap. The ball's on the ground. The ball's loose, and the ball is in the hands of the Meadowdale Mavericks. Trying to see who came away with that football. Kind of hard with all those players celebrating with him, and finally we're able to see Luis Martinez Ibarra, 5'10", 210-pound senior, coming up with the ball. Didn't see who had the carry or who knocked it loose, but we do know who had it at the end, and that's what really matters the most. Meadowdale down 7-0. Best field position they've had all night, obviously, and knocking on the door here, trying to tie this game up, trying to get on the board, and who knows, perhaps take the lead. We'll see what they elect to do if, in fact, they can score a touchdown here. 1st and 10. 1st and goal, rather. There's no chain gang out there for this one. Handoff, Newsom, fighting tough, spinning, flag comes flying in. Newsom gets tossed down at the 5-yard line. We mentioned it before, Meadowdale at times their own worst enemy with these flags this evening. Still waiting for the call. Turn it up here and we'll hear the official.
5-yard pass. Number 51 to the defense. That 5-yard penalty.
And this one is not on Meadowdale. It's on Linwood. Face mask call. Going to get Jonathan Lucio, the junior. Lucio had a huge game here last week. 2 interceptions against Shorewood. Been a big part of some of the success that Linwood's had on defense this year. It's going to make it 1st and goal to go at the 3-yard line. 4:55 shown on the clock. Newsom up the middle. Right around the goal line, and they're going to say he's just a little bit short. Gets tackled inside the 1-yard line. Brummett wasting little time. Gets his offense back up to the line of scrimmage. Newsom right behind him. Wouldn't be surprising at all to see number 45 with that ball put in his breadbasket here. Let's see what he does. Hand off to Newsom, right up the gut, into the end zone, and we've got a brand new ball game. Touchdown, Mavericks. 4:22 to go here in the third quarter, and we are a Cole Sargent PAT away from this game being all knotted up at 7 apiece. Meadowdale 6, Linwood 7. And what's been a tightly contested match all night. It's only fitting that we might head into the later part of the third quarter with a tie ball game. Let's see how this plays out. Tristan Alstead on for the hold. Sargent ready for the kick. There's the whistle, and we're ready for action here. And we're going to have to wait a moment here as a Linwood defender, or maybe 2 or 3 defenders, jump off sides. And now if you're Meadowdale, what do you want to do here? That goes half the distance, and sure enough, James Harmon says, let's go for it. We're on the 1-yard line instead of the 2. Forget going for the PAT. Let's try to get the lead right now. So he sends his offense back out onto the field. Brummett runs out there. Kuhn is in the backfield. Liebier on that left wing. Let's see if they put him in motion. He's been doing that most of the night. There he goes. Hand off to Kuhn, right up the middle. Linwood denies them. Gavin Kincaid, number 54, with a big stop amongst others. Linwood with the play of the night right there, and who knew that the defensive encroachment penalty would work to their favor? So Meadowdale decides to go for it, tries to take the lead right then and there. Linwood stops them. Linwood holding on to the 1-point lead, and we've got ourselves a great ball game right now. Going to take a quick audio break here for about 30 seconds and be right back. You don't want to go anywhere. This game's getting good, folks. You're watching Hawk TV, HBN. Looking online here, trying to get a few scores from around the league. Lake Stevens defeating Snohomish. Final score was 41-24. Marysville Pilchuck over Arlington, 42-19. They at one point led 42-0. And Shorecrest defeating Mount Lake Terrace tonight, 42-0. Shorecrest had a 36-0 lead at halftime in that game earlier. Ethan Pook fielding the kick. Had a big moment last week, number 4 on the roster sheet. He was the one that had the pick 6 for Linwood. Interception return for a touchdown. Interception that happened late first quarter, and a score that actually held up as the lead score for almost a quarter. It wasn't until a minute 17 left in the second quarter that Shorewood came back and scored to tie the game up. So Pook getting his name called out there. And Linwood once again back out on offense, this time with a 1-point lead. Hudorf throws across his body. Nice hit there. Someone stuck him. Chris Kuhn, I believe that was. It was, in fact, Kuhn. And Hurtado was the intended receiver on the play. Hard-hitting action out there tonight. These guys have been waiting for this for more than a year. They've been waiting to get out there, put on some pads, and they're doing their best. Incompleted pass over to the left side. Tanner Fahey, the intended receiver. 4 minutes left right now on the clock. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 10 here for Linwood. Certainly Meadowdale starting to feel like they've got some momentum after that last touchdown. Showed that they can move the ball a little bit for the early part of the third quarter, hoping to get the ball back with a chance to perhaps take the lead here. See what Hudorf has dialed up. Takes the snap, rolls out, looking down the field, throws it to Fahey in the flat, incomplete. It's going to be well short of the first down marker regardless. 3 plays in, 3 plays out. Hurtado set to punt the ball away, and Meadowdale down by 1 now. Ready to get the ball back, ready to try to take the lead for the first time tonight. We'll see what happens here. Tristan Alstead dropping back to receive the punt. He's on the near side. Sam Liebier on the far side. We get a whistle. I believe this is going to be a timeout as we wait to see. In fact, it will be Meadowdale. Curious timeout there. Not sure if they didn't have the right alignment on the field or were missing personnel members, but regardless, timeout. Meadowdale's first timeout of the half, the first timeout we've had in this half. Mention that because in a 1-point game, those timeouts might come back to be very vital later on in the game. Perhaps if somebody's needing to stop the clock, trying to prevent another team from running the clock out, I should say. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is an Edmonds School District battle. These two teams not so far away from one another. They've been playing each other for many, many years, going back into the early 70s. I'm getting handed a stat right now. Let's see here. Plays run in the second half. Plays from scrimmage. Meadowdale's offense has been out on the field 13 plays, and they're about to get the ball back again. Linwood, 5 plays. So thank you, Doug Podrowski, for that. So we were having a conversation earlier. When was the last time that we think Meadowdale lost to Linwood in a football game? The best number we've had so far, Nate Aber texting us thinking he's been he thinks it's been 23 years. So we're not sure, but it's been around there. Nice punt. Booming punt for Hurtado. Gets a nice roll at the end of it. It's still going. Penalty marker comes flying in late. The ball finally stops at the 5-yard line. That is a 61-yard punt for Hurtado. Second team all Wesco last year as a punter. And a flag did come in late on the play, right around the 15. Looked as though one of the Meadowdale players was a little bit upset when that flag came in, so we'll see if it's on them. If it is, could push them back even further. That would be half the distance to the goal line, which would mean they would be taking over the possession right around their own 2-yard line. So Valerie's grandson, Tyler Brummett, back out on the field one more time, ready to take his offense into the huddle. Ready to talk to his guys, get the play called, and see if the Mavericks can work their way down the field. Trailing by 1, 3:42 to go, third quarter of action. And it was, in fact, called on the receiving team, so that will move the ball back half the distance. Getting a lot of banner feedback tonight. Okay, good to know there. Like I said, we'll go through the comments later and make some constructive assessments and see what's going on here. We appreciate all the feedback tonight, and the fact that so many people are tuning in to watch a great football game. Two football teams that have been itching to get out there on the field for quite some time. Long layoff. Doesn't matter that it's March. Doesn't matter that the NCAA tournament's going on. They're ready to play and having themselves one heck of a battle tonight, right up the middle. That's Meadowdale football 2021 right there. Chris Kuhn on the carry one more time. Gets out past the 10-yard line, down to the 11. 14th offensive play that Meadowdale has run here in the quarter. Number 15 coming up. And oh, by the way, we still have 3 minutes and 14 seconds left. The 15th play, not a strong one, though. Linwood ready for that. Kuhn on the carry. Gavin Kincaid in on the tackle. We've heard his name a few times tonight. Loss of 2 on the play. That's going to bring up a 3rd and, call it 3rd and 4. Low-scoring, old-school football tonight here at Edmonds Stadium. This game, anyway. The game that we had prior to this, Edmonds Woodway defeating Shorewood 47-0. Running clock for most of the second half on that one. That is certainly not the case here. It is a running clock here, but a different sort of a running clock. It's running because the teams are running the football and keeping that clock ticking. We do have a stopped clock now, though, as Meadowdale calls a timeout. Gives us a moment to catch our breath here for a second and check on a few things. Meadowdale with their second timeout called here in the half, 1 remaining for the rest of the game. Linwood, as we mentioned earlier, all 3 of their timeouts left. Remind you one more time, both of these teams back in action next Friday night. Both of these teams also playing at Edmonds Stadium, which means we'll be broadcasting their game once again. Edmonds Woodway versus Linwood, 5 p.m. start time. It's been a one-sided affair the last few years, but I'll tell you what, this Linwood team's improved. We're seeing it right now. It's a very good Edmonds Woodway squad, though. They have won all 3 of their games so far, only given up 13 points on the entire season. They've already had 2 shutouts. Both of those shutouts coming right here at Edmonds Stadium. And then following that, and this is going to play into one of the comments that we have going on right now, as somebody threw it out there, Shorecrest and Meadowdale, 8 p.m. start time. Shorecrest 2-1 on their season thus far. Be taking on the Mavs right here at 8 p.m. We'll have both of those games on Hawk TV HPN. Meadowdale with good old-fashioned running play. 5 yards on a cloud of dust. How does that sound? You need 4. You pick up 5. First down, you move the chains. And Meadowdale now getting ready for their 17th offensive play of the quarter. certainly with a or a time possession advantage. And that play off to a little bit of a rough start. Newsom taking the carry, ran into one of his own players initially, pushed him out of the side, and then still managed to get up the field for a few more. So we'll give him a 3-yard gain on that one. Ethan Pook stepping up, making the tackle. 2nd and 7 here. Linwood playing stingy defense all night long. Another handoff up the middle. Another Meadowdale first down. Kuhn spinning away for a couple of extra yards there at the end, enough to move the chains. Just realized we never actually read the defensive starters for Linwood earlier. We skipped on. I'll mention most of these names throughout the night, but we'll make sure we get these in here in just a moment. I think we did mention the secondary, then we got away from it. We'll throw these names out here again in a moment, and deservedly so. They've been playing a heck of a ball game tonight. In Meadowdale with only one score thus far, and that came off of a fumble that set them up at the 10-yard line. Another nice run by Kuhn. Gets closer to the yard markers one more time. About a yard short. The secondary for Linwood tonight, starting secondary. Your left corner is number 15, Jordan Whittle. Your right corner is number 4, Ethan Pook. Also seen a lot of number 14, Blake Norman in there, so we'll give him a shout-out. Sean Monin, number 7, is your strong safety. Miguel Hurtado is your free safety. Let's run it one more time because that's what we do, says the Meadowdale football team. Ian Newsom with a carry. And Ian Newsom coming off the field. I don't know if that's a little stinger or what, but he's holding his right arm a little bit funny there, so we'll keep an eye on that. He is a vital part of what they're trying to do here. Ran off rather quickly, and he's kind of trying to work it out there a little bit, so perhaps he's all right, but nonetheless, something to keep in mind as we head towards the fourth quarter here. 34 seconds to go in the third quarter. 1st and 10. Newsom picking up a first down there. Meadowdale sending Lieber in motion. Another dive up the middle. More yardage there. I believe that was Kuhn. It was. Gets ahead to the 44-yard line. We're going to keep it right here to make sure we mention some names, as that should be the last play of the quarter, and it is. So we just mentioned your Linwood secondary. We didn't mention the linebackers earlier. Caden Carroll, we mentioned his name a little while ago. I think Grandma was watching and said hello. We already mentioned Jonathan Lucio. Had the 2 big interceptions last week. The middle linebacker there, wearing the number 51. Noel Gugwehi, number 5. He's also playing a linebacker spot. And then your gentleman up front, you've got your left end, number 54, Gavin Kincaid. He's made a few big plays tonight. Miles Golston is your left tackle. You also got Christopher Caffey right along there on the line. And your right end, a name that we've called more than a few times tonight because he also tends to carry the rock quite a bit. Anthony Hooker, number 35. So again, 12 minutes left to determine who's going to win this football game. 12 minutes to decide which of these teams is going to go into next week with a record of 2 wins and 1 loss. A Linwood team that picked up a little momentum after last week, and they've certainly brought it into this game as well. And a Meadowdale team that seems to be content controlling the game on the ground. Like we mentioned, had the ball for the most part there during the third quarter. In fact, going to bring up Doug Podrowski here in just a moment. Doug, you're keeping your stats down there. Do I have that right? What is it, 19-5 in terms of plays for the quarter, right around there somewhere?
I was just working out time of possession.
A lot to a little, right?
It's
at least for that half.
Meadowdale has had it 10 minutes and 37 seconds of that 12-minute quarter.
So 10 minutes and 37 seconds of a 12-minute quarter, they had the ball.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do the quick math. 1 minute and 23 seconds for Linwood then.
And they're 20 plays, all runs.
20 running plays for Meadowdale, all in one quarter.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, they still have the football, so we'll see how this goes. All right, Doug Podrowski, thank you very much. Here we go again. I'm guessing that we might see a 21st run. Let's see what happens here. 2nd and 3 right now for Meadowdale. Brummett, handoff. Of course it is. Chris Kuhn leans forward, past the marker. Let's move those chains one more time. Meadowdale trailing, but Meadowdale keeping the ball going. Rob McMain's also sending me a note right now, the former athletic director at Linwood, who still teaches. And he's just pointed out that the last time before 2016 that Linwood made the playoffs was 1995. Another running play there right up the middle. We're going to keep the clock ticking there. Thinks that might have even been the last time the Mavs lost a game to the Royals. So whatever number we hear tonight, it seems to have a 20-something attached to it. 23 years ago, 25 years ago, perhaps. It's been a while. Let's put it that way. Good to see Ian Newsom back in the game there. Like I mentioned a few moments ago, he kind of ran off the field holding his arm awkwardly. And unfortunately, as soon as I say that, he's going to do that again. So Newsom with the carry there and still struggling with that right arm right now, holding it kind of awkwardly, holding it close to his body there. Not a good sign there. He got back in there, and I was hoping that maybe it was just a stinger of some sort, and he was back and ready to go. But unfortunately, still dealing with that. So a large part of your offense and defense right now standing on the sideline trying to work out his arm issue there. So we'll continue to monitor that. 10:32 to go here on the clock. 3rd and 6 coming up from the Mavs. They're in Linwood territory. They trail by 1. There's your first pass of the second half there. Swing pass out to Lieber. Doesn't go for much in terms of yardage, a 2-yard gain. It's going to bring up a 4th and 4. That breaks the streak then. So I think, what did we have? 20. Doug, I'm bringing you up here one more time. Was that 21 straight rushes in the half?
22?
20,
I think it was 22.
We're losing. It's the same number that we're thinking in terms of the number of wins that Meadowdale's had in a row over Linwood. So much math to do here tonight, Doug. I appreciate everything you're doing. We'll tune you back down here. And Linwood ready to punt one more time. Cole Sargent. And we're going to get a flag. There was a flinch, but also Linwood jumped a little bit. It's 4th and 4. If they call this on Linwood, it's a first down for Meadowdale. This would be a huge, devastating penalty for a defense here with a 1-point lead in a game in which there's 9:45 left on the clock. And they're going to call it on Meadowdale. I had a feeling that was the case. Meadowdale or Linwood flinched, but you're able to move as long as you don't cross that line. As long as you don't cross the plane of the line of scrimmage there, you're in good shape. I didn't think Linwood did. I think what happened there was that Linwood flinched a little bit, and in doing so, they made Meadowdale flinch. And when you're on the offense, you can't do that. So that's going to push them back even 5 yards further. Sargent, nice kick, very nice kick, a booming kick. Well, as soon as I said that, I realized that it was traveling further right than it was straight. It's going to go out of bounds, and they're going to spot it right at the 20-yard line. So we'll call that a 30-yard kick with no return. Linwood already up by 1 point, and we do have a flag down, by the way, at the 35, so we'll wait to see what happens here. We got Coach Stewart watching tonight. O-line coach for the Mavs, 2018-2019. Good to have you here. No doubt rooting for the guys in gray there. James Harmon only been at the helm here for a few years now, but he was also on the staff prior to that with Matt Leonard. So certainly the Mavs mob family all around the area, those guys that coached once upon a time, still staying connected. I would imagine the same can be said for Linwood and Bankhead and some of his previous coaches / predecessors at Linwood. And we're starting to walk the ball backwards, telling us one thing. Tells us that penalty is going to be called against Linwood. 10-yard penalty takes the ball back to the 20-yard line. Blindside block. We've had that called a few times tonight in both of our games here. We're going to get it called once again. If you're just tuning in, the score is 7-6. Linwood scoring in the first half, a 13-yard pass from Julius Hudorf to Tanner Fahey. Handoff, a sweeping play there, and nothing happening. Nothing at all. Meadowdale waiting for that. Ian Newsom, tell you what, every time that guy runs off the field holding his arm, you think he's out for a while, and then he gets back in there and makes a tackle. So a big loss there, 2-yard loss. Keeps the clock going. Linwood still with the possession. So Fahey with the touchdown in the first half. Meadowdale getting the equalizer with an Ian Newsom 1-yard touchdown run. They went out. They set up to kick a PAT. Linwood jumping off sides on the defensive end of things. We're going to get a handoff here. Hooker this time, looking for some space out to the right. Not much doing either. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and might have even gotten a yard or two out of it. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long. So Meadowdale in the third quarter scores a touchdown, makes it a 7-6 game. They're all set to kick the PAT. They're lined up. They're ready to go. Linwood, defensive offsides, half the distance to the goal. Meadowdale recognizing that, hey, it's not on the 2-yard line now. It's on the 1-yard line. And they've been running the ball so well in the third quarter, they thought, let's do it one more time. Let's take the lead. Ran a play. Gavin Kincaid sniffed it out. A few of the other Linwood defenders also getting in there. And that's the difference in the ball game right now. 7-6 score. As Meadowdale trying to keep the ball and the lead. Dangerous throw there. Completed for the first down. Tanner Fahey coming up with the catch. See if I can put Doug on the spot here. Doug, do we know Tanner Fahey's stats for the game? That's got to be at least 3 or 4 catches, right?
I have him down as 3 catches for 39 yards.
3 catches, 39 yards, and some big ones at that. One of the catches obviously going for a touchdown. That one there moving the chains here in the fourth quarter. Good to see number 8 back out there. Again, good kid, great family. Covered his sister during their run to the state championship as a basketball team a few years ago. And coming off of an injury, we never like to see that for high school students. And now Fahey back out there doing what he does and loves best there and catching passes. So great to see that. Incomplete pass there. Going to bring up a 2nd and 10. 8 minutes to go on the clock. Coach Stewart mentions that he's watching this game down in the Bay Area tonight. So, Coach, good to hear from you. I think you're coaching down there. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but we'll see what happens here. Pretty sure you're coaching down there somewhere. Give a shout out if you are. Let us know what school you're coaching these days. Short gain there brings up a 3rd and let's see, what are they going to mark it? 3rd and 8. Big play right here for the Mavs and the Royals. Linwood looking to get that clock ticking, looking to keep it rolling, looking to keep the ball. Looking to move the chains. Meadowdale's down by 1, looking to get the ball back. They're hoping to score and perhaps take the lead and win this game. By the way, Cole Sargent, he can kick a little bit too. The Meadowdale kicker, if in fact they need a field goal attempt later on in this game, you've got somebody that can certainly get the job done. Interception, here we go.
38.
Guess who?
38.
Ian Newsom to the house, 38 yards out. Touchdown, Meadowdale. Late flag at the end of the play. I believe this is going to be after the score. We'll hold off and wait. If it stands, Meadowdale for the first time tonight may have just taken the lead. Ian Newsom, he's been on tackles. He's been running the football. He's done a little bit of everything. And now a pick 6 into the end zone, 38 yards out. Okay. Yet. And it looked as though there might have been a little miscommunication there. Hudorf looking across the middle, couldn't see which receiver it was. One of his receivers ran like a curl pattern maybe, turned around, and then all of a sudden he started running down the field again. He turned back around and started running, and when he did, it left Newsom there all by himself. Ball came right to him. He did the rest. He's got the feet. He's got the speed. We know that. Ian Newsom, who we've seen run off the field not once but twice in the last few minutes, holding his shoulder awkwardly down at his side. And here he is now with a pick 6.
The touchdown is good. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 25 of the scoring team. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
There you have it. I think what happened there, too, is watch Newsom go into the end zone. Angelo Como giving us hand signals here from the side. Watch Newsom go into the end zone, and I think there was so much exuberance and celebration there by Meadowdale that and I think it was more than just one, but Jacob Weisenberg right in front of the official, some sort of a somersault or a dive into the end zone, and they decided that was unsportsmanlike, so they're going to give him a penalty for that. But nonetheless, Meadowdale with 7:10 to go in the game, up for the first time. Sargent with a kick. It is up. It is good. The Meadowdale Mavericks now with a 13-7 lead. Linwood trails. Linwood about to get the ball back. It's exactly what you look for in a football game right here. Friday Night Lights in March. Who knew it could be so much fun? I'm going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Hawk TV HBN. Seven minutes and 10 seconds left here at Edmonds Stadium. The Meadowdale Mavericks, thanks to a 38-yard interception from Ian Newsom, first lead of the night. Okay. 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, however, will push the kickoff back a little further than originally anticipated. So let's see what Linwood can do now. Sean Monin set to receive. It doesn't matter. Cole Sargent says, I'll just drill this one past you and into the end zone. 20-yarder there. So Cole, even Angelo Camo up here a little bit shocked. He saw that kick fly by and just about jumped out of his shoes there. Meadowdale fans starting to get into it a little bit here. Again, first night with fans in the stands. First night of football. Second night overall. We moved into phase 3 as far as the sporting side of things yesterday with girls soccer and girls volleyball. A lot of great sports going on throughout the area. Again, everything kind of wrapping up for the fall sports next week. I guess I should say the week after. March 29th for most sports, football on April 1st. Hudorf fakes one way, gets Hooker going on the other side, throws it back over to him. Hooker still fighting for yardage. A little bit of a scrum there. He finally goes down right around the 29-yard line. A little bit short of the first down, maybe a yard to a yard and a half to go. A little misdirection there. Hudorf getting everybody thinking to the left and threw it to Hooker on the right. You know, so much for the talk of a field goal potential for a go-ahead score now. Linwood down by 6. You're going to need to try to get this ball down into the end zone. I'm guessing that that last player, Hudorf, out to the right, into the flat. Sliding catch down at the 35-yard line. Hurtado coming up with that one, moving the chains. I'm assuming that my pals, the Harmon kids, are watching this one at home still, and Mom letting them stay up a little bit late, liking what they see from Dad's squad there. First down, moving the chains there. James and Brooklyn watching Dad's team right now. They're ahead. Hooker looking for a place to run. Can't find anything. Swarmed by the gray jerseys. Martinez Ibarra in on the tackle. And we're going to have an injury timeout here. 5:46 to go. Trying to see who that is. That might be Hooker that's down. I didn't see him get up initially. Yeah, looking around the stands here, we mentioned it earlier. If you tune in late, Meadowdale, I think I counted 26 cheerleaders down there tonight. Jade Perry and Sherman Davidson are listed as the cheer coaches. It's a Meadowdale team that's won state championships in cheer also. And Linwood also with a very strong cheer. Both of them have sent teams to state and done extremely well. Leslie Brunson, the cheer coach over at Linwood. So we mentioned fall sports. Seems so funny to say fall sports in March. Fall sports wrapping up here at the end of the month. Football going all the way until April 1st, which is a Thursday. The majority of the other sports are scheduled to wrap up on Monday, March 29th. So again, we've got boys tennis going on right now, girls soccer, girls volleyball, cross country for boys and girls, girls swim, which has been a little bit different because they've been doing virtual swim meets, and those have been hard to come by. I'm trying to get these scores and stats to put up on linwoodtoday.com and myedmondsnews.com as well as mlt.com every night, and it's hard to find swimming information right now, so we'll try to get some more of that over the next couple weeks and make sure that they get their mentions that they so well deserve. But this swimming meets are all virtual, so no two teams in the same pool in Wesco this year, at least not for the fall sports season. And then we head into spring, and that's the one that I think a lot of us are most excited about for no other reason other than the fact that that's the season that didn't happen last year. They got canceled before they ever started. A lot of those athletes waiting 2 years now. Hudorf looking to pass. Second and long. He's got a man. He's got a completion. Here comes Linwood past midfield, and guess who? Tanner Fahey on the catch. First and 10 for the Royals at the 49-yard line. So we're getting some shout-outs right now from the previous game earlier tonight. Guys having some fun. Here we go. High snap. Handoff. First down and more. Flag comes in late on the play. Guguehi on the carry. I'm trying to look on the other side of the field there is Anthony Hooker being tended to by the training staff. Hooker is, we've already called him a workhorse once tonight. We'll do it again. He is somebody who not afraid to carry that football 15, 20 plus times a game, and saw him do it last week. He was certainly on his way to getting those carries again tonight. And they're going to call holding on Linwood, so wipe out the first down, bring the ball back past midfield. They're at their own 45-yard line right now. Clock continuing to run, 4:48 and counting. Fans starting to sense a little bit of urgency here in terms of the clock. And the clock stops here for one moment. Let's see what they're going to call here. Fans are having a little fun up here yelling at the referees. And, when you have fewer people up here, you're modified that much more when you do start yelling. So, again, it's a little interesting, especially when there's nobody in the stands. We were remarking on the last couple of weeks, we could hear maybe all's a little bit strong, but many of the conversations taking place along the sidelines, referees and coaches and players, things that we normally wouldn't hear in a non-pandemic season, all of a sudden magnified that much louder up here. So here we go. 1st and 16 is what's showing up on the board. Linwood football at their own 45-yard line. Hudorf scrambling, throws it down the field. Incomplete. Dangerous throw there. Lyndon Dubuis getting his hands on that ball, almost came up with an interception. 2nd and 16 coming up. Here we go. 4:43 left. 2nd and 16. Linwood needing to get all the way over to the Meadowdale 39-yard line for a first down. 55 yards away from potentially taking the lead or at least tying it up, picking up some of that yardage right now and getting back out to midfield as they continue to work that right side. Sean Monin coming up with a catch this time around, number 7. And that will bring up third and 6. I had to make sure that that third down marker was right. It is marked 3rd and 6 coming up. No doubt 4-down territory, down by 6 points here. Hudorf looking down the sideline, throwing the ball incomplete. Good coverage over there from Meadowdale. Trying to find Fahey. Dubuis back there in his safety position, kind of playing center field a little bit. Ready to contest if need be. Hudorf threw that one out of bounds. 4th down coming up. We're going to call it 4th and 7. At the 46-yard line again, they need to get to the 39 for a first down. They trail by 6. Big play coming up right now. Hudorf, 3 receivers set out to the left, looks to the right, throws incomplete. Turnover on downs. Meadowdale sending the offense back out onto the field with 4:26 to play. And that Meadowdale offense that has been grinding and grabbing first downs left and right throughout the second half. Looking at that clock is on their side right now. They want that clock ticking down as much as possible. No doubt we'll be looking to keep the ball on the ground. Convert a couple of first downs here. You might be able to run that clock all the way out and walk out of here with a victory tonight. Let's see what happens. Brummett back under center. Lieber in motion one more time. The pitch to Lieber, sweeping out to the right. Trying to find an edge. Sean Monin there saying, no, you don't. Monin over there for the tackle. He had a little bit of help. Jaquan Harris also in on the tackle there. Ethan Polk also over there to try to cut off the edge. 2-yard gain, maybe 3 yards on the play. Ball's at the 48. We'll call that 2 yards. So again, Meadowdale looking to try to get those chains moving, trying to keep that clock going. Linwood desperately right now needs the ball back. Trailing by 6 after a 38-yard interception return for a touchdown by Ian Newsom. Chris Kuhn spins out of a tackler, picks up a first down, still goes out past the 40-yard line, down at the 38. A gain of 14 on the play. Exactly what Linwood did not need. Exactly what Meadowdale was hoping for there. Pushing those chains forward, 4:10 to go. Linwood still holding on to all 3 of their timeouts.
14 yards on the pickup by Meadowdale, and that's a Maverick first down.
Maverick first down again, and I'll have to ask Doug here in a moment. I'm not sure if he's been keeping first downs or not tonight. I know Meadowdale certainly has their share. I'm getting a head nod, yes. So after this play, maybe we'll pod him up and find out if we have a number there. That's the one number I haven't asked for earlier tonight, but Meadowdale just grinding it out. Lieber in motion one more time. They're going to go for the dive again. Ball is loose. Ball is jarred free. Who has it? This could be big. Both teams claiming they have it. And they're going to say Linwood football. We've got ourselves a new ball game here. Jonathan Lucio just seems to have a knack for the football. 2 interceptions last week in the middle linebacker position. Ball got stripped away. I didn't see who grabbed it away. Chris Kuhn running through the line. I saw one of the Linwood defenders reach his hands in there as though he was intending to strip the ball, and that's exactly what he did. Ball hits the turf. Lucio comes up with it with 3:42 to go here. Linwood 61 yards away, potentially tying the game and maybe even taking the lead. And here come the Rains, adding to the drama, adding to the elements. A little bit of a wet Friday night action here in a close game. Old school football here. 13-7, and wouldn't you know it, only 3 scores, and when you've got a defensive battle, go-ahead touchdown just happens to have come on a defensive play. Julius Hudorf, 2 receivers set out to the right. Shotgun formation, rolls out to the right side, throws it back to the left. And grabbed down by the back of his jersey. That, in fact, was Gugwehi. Had to make sure that we saw that number to get it correct first, but again, misdirection there as Hudorf made it look as though he was going to go for one of those 2 receivers out on the right. Turned back around, Gugwehi dropping back. Threw it to him out in the flat, a 5-yard gain on the play. Let's say 2nd down and 4. 3:03 left here on the 4th quarter. Hudorf once again rolling out, finds Monin out in the flat. Monin spins off of one tackler, gets past midfield, past the first down markers, moves the chains one more time. Here we go, 48-yard line. Tick, tick, tick. Clock continues to roll off, stopping just long enough for the chains to move. Linwood on the move. Linwood trying to find the equalizer and perhaps take the lead. Under 3 minutes left. We wondered if this wasn't going to be a great game tonight, and it has lived up to its billing. Hudorf fakes the handoff, looks downfield, rolls out to the right, decides to run it. Spinning past the 45-yard line down to the 44, a gain of 4. Leith in on the tackle, and we're going to get a timeout called here by one of the teams. Let's see who's going to call it. Linwood decides to call their first time out of the half, first time out of the 4th quarter. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left. 2nd and 7, 45-yard line. Perhaps this game might be coming down to the final play or two. You might want to have your friends and family tune in. If they're not already watching, let them know we've got a great game going on here. 2 teams, same record. I mean, we looked at it on paper. One common opponent. Obviously, we're only 2 weeks into the season. One common opponent, that was Shorewood. One of them with a 28-point victory over Shorewood. That would be Meadowdale. 28-0 final. Linwood beating Shorewood by 27. So just from that fact alone, figure they might be evenly matched. And certainly that has been the case here tonight. 13-7 score. Meadowdale trying to hold the lead. Linwood ready to go once again. They still have 2 timeouts left on the board. Need to get to the 38 for the next timeout. Hudorf thought about passing it. Should have done so. He goes down and goes down hard. Sacked on the play, number 30. Coming in to get the tackle. Oh, Henry Gates, 56 on the play. Jersey was a little deceiving for me there. I was looking for a 36 on my roster. It's 56. Henry Gates getting in there for the huge sack. 8-yard loss. Linwood 3rd and 15. We're now down under 2 minutes to go. Certainly you give Meadowdale the ball back at this point, it's game over. 2 plays to get 15 yards. They're going to go deep down the right side. Ball is picked off. Was he in bounds? He was. Meadowdale football. Tristan Alstead, the safety. Guarding the sideline over there. Nice sliding catch again. It's starting to rain out a little bit. Kept his feet in bounds. Slid down to the turf. Picks off the pass. 1:33 to go. Linwood does have 2 timeouts. They can stop the clock here a couple of times. Not going to say it's completely over yet, as they could potentially, if they can hold them for 3 plays, could get the ball back, could force a punt, and perhaps have a chance here, but they're going to need to come up with a few big defensive plays here again. Otherwise, Meadowdale, once again, prepared to take a victory out of the stadium here tonight. Can't say it enough. We want to thank everybody helping us this evening. Heather Miles, student at Melly Terrace High School, running the board. Student run program. She's been doing a phenomenal job. Angelo Camo, again from Melly Terrace High School, teacher extraordinaire, running the show. Handoff up the middle. Meadowdale keeping that clock going. Ian Newsom one more time. And our camera operators tonight, Dave Marriott and Brad Bennett. And, of course, Doug Podrowski below me here. Sitting in the back row of the bleachers, keeping stats. Doing so out in the cold. Keeping him out of the rain anyway. He is underneath the cover, so that's a good thing. So Linwood calling the timeout, their second timeout. 1:12 left on the clock. This is what we've been waiting for. This is our 6th game over the course of 3 weeks. We haven't had a close one yet. We've been waiting. We've had what, 4? We've had a couple of running clocks. The Linwood Shorecrest game 2 weeks ago, it was 3-0 with 8 minutes to go. I guess that qualifies as close. Shorecrest 3 touchdowns in the last 7 minutes and kind of put it away and made it look worse than it was, but still, we've been waiting for a game to come right down to the last couple of minutes. Thought this one, looking on the schedule, especially after seeing what Linwood did to Shorewood last week, we thought this might be the case, and these guys have not disappointed. So certainly, big shout out to both of these teams for being out here. Again, a lot of adversity. Don't get as many practices as you normally would. You don't get to go to the summer camps. You don't get the clinics. Even getting into the gym to work out has been tough during a pandemic. Staying motivated, staying upbeat. These guys are out here battling tonight. We can't thank them enough, and so happy to see them back out here and, again, giving us a show here, win or lose for either team. Handoff one more time. I believe that's Newsom. Stacked up, fighting forward. Linwood with another timeout. Ian Newsom with the carry. So here's the deal. We're looking right now at a 3rd and I'm waiting to see what they put up on the board here. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 1:04 left. Linwood is out of timeout. So Meadowdale's going to run a play here in just a moment. There's 1:04 left. As soon as that play gets run and the play clock gets set again, it'll start running down, and Linwood will not be able to stop the clock. However, if they can force Meadowdale into a tie or into a 4th down situation, Meadowdale will be forced to take a snap on that 4th down play, albeit either a punt situation or if they just want to run a play. Linwood could potentially get the ball back. However, by the time they do, there's only going to be a few seconds left on the clock. So perhaps a little drama here. Pretty much throw all the drama out the window if Meadowdale can pick up a 1st down on this play. This would be game over right here. And they're going to show 3rd and 2 on the clock. So again, Meadowdale, if they can get that ball to the 36-yard line, at that point, all they would need to do is take a snap, take a knee, and they can walk on out of here with a 2-1 record and another victory over the Linwood Royals. Brummett under center. Takes the snap, some confusion on the play. Brummett finally brought down, and in fact, we're going to have a 4th down. Not sure, a little miscommunication there. Brummett took the snap, and one of his running backs was not where he thought he should be. Brummett finally keeps the football, holds on to it, gets tackled after a 1-yard gain. There is a 15-second difference between the play clock and the game clock right now. Meadowdale will need to snap the ball with about 16 seconds left. Can also take a 5-yard penalty if they want. 4th down and 1. There's some confusion on Meadowdale's part, too, as to what they want to do. Keeping Brummett on the field. So 4th and 1. If Linwood stops them right here, they might get the ball back with 10 seconds to go. They could run a play at that point. So let's see what happens. And finally, Meadowdale very wisely lets the play clock tick down to 1. The game clock at 16 calls their final timeout. So now they can set things up. So again, what do you do if you're Meadowdale? Do you punt? You never know what's going to happen in a high school level game on a punt situation. Everything from a bad snap, maybe a bad handle on the other side once the punter gets the ball, standing 15 yards back. Oh, by the way, it's raining out right now. The ball can be slippery. You could certainly have that ball go over your head and really give Linwood a good shot at having a 1 or 2 play possession from, who knows, inside your own 20 for that matter. You can also run a play here. However, if you run a play and get stopped, Clock's going to stop at the end of the play due to the fact that it would be a turnover on downs. Linwood could then have the ball right around the 35-yard line. So a lot of options here right now for Meadowdale. Linwood, all they need to do right now, come up with some sort of a stop, be ready to go, and hope that they can get their offense onto the field for one more play. Cole Sargent, the punter, is on the field. And then there's another option I didn't even mention. You could snap the ball back to Sargent. He can run it back out into the back of the end zone, give Linwood a safety, and then get to kick the ball off with about 5 seconds to go and really try to pin them back. So let's see what they do here. Sargent catches it, gets off the kick. The clock is running. It's going to continue to run until the ball is stopped. Monin finally grabs it. 7 seconds to go. I think the Meadowdale fans were kind of hoping that they'd give them the ball. Monin almost acted as though he was playing basketball and trying to save a ball from going out of bounds, but he was stepped on the line at the time. So the play immediately is rolled dead. So 6 seconds to go. Linwood football at their own 21-yard line, 79 yards away. One play to try to tie this game up with a touchdown and then potentially win it with either an extra point or a 2-point conversion. Meadowdale in prevent defense, they've dropped 4 different players back to the 50-yard line. You've got Brummett back there. You've got Liebeer, Alstead. Another player on the far side there that we can't see. So here it is, the final play of the game right now. Husted throws it into the flat. Ball is caught. Tackle is made. Ball game over. Meadowdale Mavericks come away with yet another victory. Hard fought tonight. 13-7 is your final score. Meadowdale with 2 touchdowns in the second half, a 1-yard Ian Newsom touchdown run, and then the Ian Newsom 38-yard interception return for a touchdown with about 7 minutes to go in the game. That's your difference. That's your ball game. Meadowdale improving on the season to a 2-1 record. Linwood, nothing to hold their heads down about tonight. They played a heck of a ball game, dropping their record to 1-2 on the season. And these two teams put on one heck of a performance tonight. Kudos to both of them for what they were able to accomplish, what they were able to do. Like I said, a Meadowdale team that is much improved. And again, we want to remind you one more time, both of these teams playing again next week on HBN. 5 o'clock start time, Edmonds, Woodway, and Linwood, right here on this field, on this channel, right here on YouTube. So Edmonds, Woodway, and Linwood at 5 o'clock. Shorecrest and Meadowdale at 8 o'clock. Could be a couple more great games there. And then again, the following week, Thursday, April 1st, our season finale. Yeah, it's over that quick, right? Thursday, April 1st, the rivalry games. Jam the Stands, Stadium Jam, whichever school you're with, you call it something different, right? Either way, Thursday, April 1st, 5 o'clock, it's Meadowdale versus Edmonds Woodway, followed by Linwood, Mount Lake Terrace. 2 great rivalries right there. So, again, for everybody working with us tonight, and for Doug Podrowski, let's tune Doug up one more time. Doug, do we have any interesting final stats for the night?
Well, certainly. You were asking about first down.
Yes.
Meadowdale had 13, 8 in the second half. And Linwood had 8 total for the whole game.
So 13 first downs. I would have thought that number was even different, but yeah, 13 first downs to Meadowdale, 8. Any final numbers there? How about Ian Newsom? Did we know what he ended up with tonight?
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Ian Newsom.
Figured you might.
15 carries for 109 yards.
15, and that doesn't include the fact that he ran for 38 yards after picking off a pass and running it back for a touchdown, which ended up being the game winner tonight, right?
Absolutely, and we can't go without mentioning Kuhn either. 91 yards on 16 carries.
And we're going to try to get the camera out here in a moment back out onto the field because there's some celebrating going on there. And there we go. Nobody needs to look at my back, and it's not that pretty. There we go. So looking out onto the field right now, you see the Meadowdale players huddling. You can see Coach Harmon talking to his guys. Coach Bankhead doing the same thing on the other side. Again, 2 class acts, Keontae Bankhead, James Harmon. Great coaching staffs, great group of players. Can't say that enough. And hey, kudos to everybody working at the stadium tonight, and all stadiums for that matter. If you're watching us after one of your games earlier, tireless effort on behalf of the athletic directors and athletic departments for that matter. certainly we know that the folks around here are working hard. You saw Angie McGuire earlier, Beth Marriott here from Meadowdale High School, Paul Keene down in the booth doing his thing. He's the athletic director for Linwood this year. Julie Stronzak, saw her out working the gate earlier, the athletic director for the school district. And Shane and Scott and the rest of the crew and so many others to mention. Just a fantastic job. Everybody doing their part to make sure that we were able to get fans in the stands tonight, able to get people back out here, moms, dads, family members watching their children, watching their guys play football, cheerleaders doing their part, standing out in the rain this evening and the wind, enduring a lot there. So just good to see everybody getting back to normal a little bit. We're not quite there yet. We're getting there slowly, I should say, and we're eventually going to make it. But to be able to come to a high school football game and to watch this evening, it is something spectacular. We enjoy it. So, Doug, thank you very much again for everything you're doing. Any final numbers there, or are we good to go?
I think those are the most important things. It was interesting to see Linwood attempt 27 passes tonight and completed 13 of them. That's a lot of passes for.
A lot of those coming in the fourth quarter too, when they were trying to catch up after the Newsom interception.
Absolutely.
How many passes for Meadowdale tonight? There's a stat. I bet it's a low number.
4.
4. Okay, a very low number.
Yes. Brummett went 2 for 4 for 7 yards.
2 for 4 for 7. But you know what? Brummett's starting quarterback for the winning football team, and that's what matters, right? And we know Grandma was watching tonight, so she enjoyed that. So again, hey, thank you very much, Doug. We'll go ahead and sign you off there. And we'll sign off on our end as well. So once again, your final score tonight, Meadowdale 13, Linwood 7. For everybody up here, for Heather, for Angelo, for our guys running the cameras, Brad, Dave, I'm Steve Willits. We appreciate you watching. We invite you to tune in again next week. Oh, by the way, soccer on Tuesday. Just saying if you want to watch. Mount Lake Terrace girls versus Archbishop Murphy. We'll have some fun with that broadcast as well. But we'll be back here again next Friday night for a doubleheader featuring these two teams. So for everybody involved with our program, thank you for watching. This is Hawk TV HBN. Have a great night and a fantastic weekend.